Dear partners, dear colleagues, dear friends, a very warm welcome to session number 10 on Gender Smart Finance in Action. Today, it's all about celebrating success. Yes, celebrating our 10th GAWBLconnect Jubilee session and celebrating real-life success stories in the financial sector. Today, we will zoom in on Jordan in particular, and learn more about financial institutions who have successfully managed to increase gender equity at all levels. What was their journey like? What concepts or steps were taken? What were the lessons learned? What measurable successes were generated? And most importantly to me, what can I learn from these amazing, impactful and inspiring case studies? And how can we take it further from there? And this is why I'm so excited to welcome now our fantastic moderator and speakers of today, sharing their enormous, very hands-on expertise and insights into how to really walk the talk, how to really be the agents of change for a more gender-balanced financial institutional world. And maybe you can hear my verbal drum roll now. Please welcome Sally Yacoub, independent gender and financial exclusion consultant, joining us from Montreal in Canada. So it's early morning at your end. A very warm welcome. Fantastic to have you as a moderator today. Budur Al-Hayari, Director of Strategic Planning and Business Development at Microfund for Women. Dear Budur, you're joining us from Amman. So does, and again, a very warm welcome, our dear friend Issam Shnoudeh. You are Chief Business Officer at Tamwilcom. And I must say, please allow me to mention this. I am particularly pleased to see a gentleman advocating for gender equity. And Natalie Al-Naber, Chief Marketing Officer at Bank Al-Ittihad, also joining us from Amman. Wonderful to have you all with us. And we agreed beforehand that you, dear Sally, will introduce our speakers in more detail in a moment. Now, celebrating 10 amazing GAWBLconnect sessions. What a fantastic journey this has been so far. And as we all know, one hand doesn't clap. So we must thank our wonderful long-standing partners and friends at Sanad Technical Assistance Facilities and Finance in Motion for being such an inspiring, encouraging, and reliable partner all over these years. Without you, this wonderful journey of exchange, networking, making friends, growing together would not have been the same. Yes, sharing is caring, and you did care. So a massive thank you in particular to Elvira Lefting, Almudena Marquez, Maha O'Kale, and you, dear Katrina Morton. You are Senior Officer at Finance in Motion, and I couldn't be more pleased and grateful to have you with us today on our Jubilee edition. So now, Katrina, please, the floor is yours, and I will be sharing my screen so that we can all see the presentation, hopefully. Please, Katrina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for such a very warm welcome, and also from my side. And let me also welcome all of you from Finance in Motion, and that advises the Sanad Fund for MSME and manages the technical assistance facility. We're also from our side very happy, to have partnered with the German Arab women business leaders, and to have been on this journey to promote female empowerment in the region. As you know, female empowerment is one of the focal topics for the Sanad Fund for MSME and its technical assistance facility. And over the years, we have been supporting our partners, in promoting gender equity within their institutions, in supporting leadership development programs, and doing very much needed work also on the sector level to promote female empowerment. Today, also very happy that to be part of this Jubilee webinar session and to pursue this important discussion with our partners, with financial institutions, to further discuss how we can promote female empowerment and gender equity within the financial sector. I'll stop here and thank you very much, and very much looking forward to this discussion today.
Katarina, thank you so much. And as we see now, we are truly strongly united in our endeavor to pushing the agenda for equity forward as a holistic approach. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective in this. Now, it's my deep honor and pleasure to introduce to you our wonderful moderator of today's session, Sally Jakub. You, as I said before, are an independent gender and financial inclusion consultant, a multicultural professional with more than 20 years of experience in providing technical and strategic advice, leadership on gender equity and financial inclusion, such as conducting gender-responsive research, gender assessments, gender lens investing analysis, gendered market sectoral analysis, so much designing and delivering training, pragmatic strategies, toolkits, project interventions that all aim to promote gender equity and the inclusion of underrepresented groups. Your, I must say, impressive career spans across regions and areas, sectors such as women's economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, energy, and youth employment, counting many international organizations among your partners, such as SANAT, GIZ, Finca USA, IPC, Center for Financial Inclusion, the Women World Banking, and much more. You also, and this is what I really have to mention, served as financial inclusion and financial education consultant for the MENA region, working for the Swiss capacity building facility and also for the German-based GIZ, where you also conducted many important projects and very impactful. You were holding a master's degree from Ludwigsburg University of Education in Germany. And what I found particularly interesting, your thesis already aimed to analyze gender mainstreaming in the United Nations. So what an impressive CV. And to be honest, dear Sally, given this profound, hands-on, and highly diverse expertise in so many different areas of financial inclusion, I couldn't think of a better moderator for today's topic. And this is why I'm really grateful that you accepted to take on this journey with us today. And a very warm welcome again to all of us, and looking into this virtual round of condensed fin equity power, I'm all the more looking forward to an impactful, insightful, and engaging session. Sally, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gabi, for what an introduction and a warm welcome. Thank you to you, Dr. Gabi, for your efforts in convening different stakeholders, and creating spaces for learning, for exchange, for enriching opportunities as such. Thanks also to Katarina, to also the SANA Technical Assistance Facility for your genuine also commitment to gender equality, same as Dr. Gabi as well, for your commitment and your, for walking the talk. As a partner of mine, I do see both also and at SANA's Technical Assistance Facility. Today, we have a wonderful star of speakers, and it's an opportunity. The moment, it's an honor to be with you here today. It's an honor to moderate this event and to partner with you, Dr. Gabi, with you, Katarina, with our stars that I'm going to be also that have been introduced, but I have the pleasure also of introducing in a minute. We're going to be really hearing about real practical life examples, as Dr. Gabi has mentioned, from those three financial institutions, from Microfund for Women, Bank al-Ittihad, and Tamwilcom. So no philosophy there. It's actually implementable and implemented approaches, strategies, steps in their gender journey, how they did it, the approaches to that, to promoting gender equality, both institutionally, that is within their financial institutions, but also externally within their operations and any client-based activities. We're going to be, as Dr. Gabi had mentioned, we're going to be hearing about how it actually worked. What made it work? The success factors, what they've learned through this journey, and not only the positives, we want to also hear the negatives, a bit of the negatives, the challenges, what they faced. So we all learn, because we learn more from our challenges often than we learn from our successes. I have the utmost honor of presenting our three amazing speakers. The first, I would go first with Badour Al-Hayari, and she is the Senior Director of Strategic Planning and Business Development at Microfund for Women. She is responsible for leading strategic planning, implementation, coordinating the development of the business plan, and also determining the KPIs and milestones that are used to measure progress towards the set out business strategy. Badour has more than 18 years of experience in the development and financial sector with various expertise ranging from strategic setting, implementation, change management, organizational effectiveness, business development, research and development, among others. She has a master's degree in international relations from the University of Jordan. Really, I can't say, really 3 stars. The 3 stars as in 3 of you, but 7 stars for each of you. And then I have the utmost pleasure of also introducing Assam Shnude, and he is the Chief Business Officer at Tamwilcom. He has extensive experience in the field of microfinance, micro and small enterprise financing, financial inclusion and development, spanning 20 years. He has worked in several positions actually in Tamwilcom. Assam has a bachelor degree in business administration, in addition to many professional international certificates. He's actually a certified trainer specialized in credit and financial analysis and financial inclusion, portfolio management, and social performance management. He is also a committee member with the Central Bank of Jordan in formulating the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. Welcome, Badour, Assam, and Natalie. Natalie Al-Naber is the Chief Marketing Officer at Bank al-Ittihad. She's also a board member, by the way, at Bank al-Ittihad as well, with over 15 years of experience. Her passion lies in creating purpose-driven brands. So when Natalie joined Bank al-Ittihad in 2013, together with her team, she was able, along with the team, to establish Bank al-Ittihad's social media presence and really revamped its presence, and now which enjoys the highest merits in the sector in terms of engagement, awareness, and positive sentiment. In 2014, Natalie was one of the cross-functional teams, tasked with building and launching the Women Market Program at Bank al-Ittihad, which is called Shuru. It was the first of its kind in Jordan at the time, and has really cemented Bank al-Ittihad's position as the employer and bank of choice for women in Jordan. Natalie is also leading the establishment of a sustainability unit, and she's pursuing her master's degree, with Columbia University in New York, and she has a bachelor degree from Franklin University in Switzerland in communication and marketing. What wonderful 3 journeys and career paths and expertise. I'm super excited to be hearing the jewels that come out of such immense expertise, of such, also committed and passionate individuals that I know of the 3 of you. And without further ado, we're going to move to the first question and want to hear from you all. And our first question will be for each one of our stars, of our speakers, to introduce their financial institution briefly, but then to also give our audience an overview of your gender journey, your general approach. What has been your approach to mainstreaming gender and gender smart finance, both institutionally and operationally? And here we'll start with Badur. To you, Badur, please.
Thank you, Sally and Dr. Gabi, Katrina, and everybody, of course. So Microfund for Women is the first and one of the leading microfinance institution in Jordan and in the region. We have 62 branches. We are registered as non-for-profit organization under the regulations of Central Bank of Jordan. Throughout the 25 years and more now, we have served more than 1.5 million beneficiaries through an amount of more than 830 million Jordanian dinar, and we have around 800 employees. We're all of us are working to empower women. This is our mission, and we are a mission-driven organization toward this purpose. So this is in a nutshell MFW. Our journey, we work under a framework which is finance, develop, and protect. The finance as the microcredit that we are offering to our beneficiaries, and the develop as the capacity building and market linkages offerings also to them. And the protect, we have also developed insurance programs and hospital cash. All of it, all our offerings came from understanding and studying the needs of women that we are serving. And before that, MFW, when it started basically just to serve and to offer its services to women. Understanding that women development approach has changed towards a holistic approach where we need to serve not only the woman and empower only the woman, we need to empower all her family members. So following and pursuing this approach, we have opened our services to everybody from this principle, basically, and to ensure that we are not burdening the woman with taking loans and money for other purposes. So the man, if needs her husband, her brother, they are all a system, a family system. If they need money, they can come to MFW and take the loan without pressuring her. So the journey started with serving only the woman. Then we are adapting and following the newest approaches where it's the holistic approach. I can say that MFW in general have a DNA of women empowerment. So and the staff are trained in using gender in designing products. And when we think of channels, we think of are we reaching this poor woman in the village by this advertisement, or are we excluding her? In the data that we are collecting, we ask ourselves, we do this gender audit on everything we have. And also the segments, are we ignoring the refugee woman that we have in Jordan, for example? So we added certain things for the Syrian refugee, for example, in the previous five years. So we follow in the gender in all aspects, from understanding, studying, designing, piloting, offering, channeling, and having the impact. And it all become from partnerships that we have, such as the partnership that we're having with Sanad, where they also helped us in doing certain gender assessments. And with other partners, we always conduct gender audit on ourselves. Also, we empower our staff, our female staff, because we want them to be empowered. So more than 70% of our employees are women. Even when we go up to the leadership, you will still see lots of women. Our CEO is a female leader. Our board, most of it are women members. We have also worked on giving more privileges to such as a longer maternity leave for women. Yeah, so this is what we are doing in general. There are some challenges or some things related to the ecosystem, such as in Jordan, when we are talking about gender in general, we can't ignore transportation, we can't ignore the lack of daycare. These are the two main things in the ecosystem. And MFW, from where we are, we try also to bridge these gaps by small steps or by advocacy or by focusing on how we can have more kindergarten all over Jordan with certain programs with some partners. So this is the overall picture. I'm sure that I will jump in more details in our upcoming question.
Wow. Awesome. This is awesome. And Dr. Gabi, yes, thank you so much. First, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat. I should have mentioned it in early on. Badur, what an amazing overview. What an amazing journey, an adaptable journey. It was evolving, so it didn't stay stagnant. You evolved with time, no? From also a double-sided, multifaceted, both for your staff, and making it conducive for them. Capacity building, we heard about that. We heard about also, looking at different segments. So starting with the analysis and understanding the different segments and having this DNA in your organization, but also this new gender lens that you use in everything from studying the group to understanding their needs to designing interventions to, we heard, financing, developing and protecting, so different financial services as well as non-financial ones like market access and so on. So what a wonderful thing, and also amazing to see also the partnerships that you've done, and again, Senate Technical Assistance Facility really walking the talk and providing the support and with change agents. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now we want to hear from Assam. To you, Assam, please. We'd love to hear about your journey and of course about Tamwilcom.
Yeah, thank you, Sally, Dr. Gabi, Katrina, and all others. Tamwilcom established in 1999 as a non-for-profit organization. Our mission is to provide responsible financial services to empower entrepreneurs and low-income earners. We are serving the kingdom over 39 branches with more than 500 employees. Our gender smart finance journey started as a role of microfinance and Tamwilcom, always the subject and the topic of women empowerment is very important for microfinance and for the role of microfinance and Tamwilcom specifically. We see that there's many activities regarding to women empowerment, but we also see that we need like a roadmap, like a strategy to be in place to track, follow, and measure a certain KPIs of social performance management, and in specific to the gender equity. Because we believe in our social mission and social goals, we set our social performance management and goals, and there is a specific goals and KPIs for gender smart finance and gender equity, even for our internally for our employees and externally towards our beneficiaries. Also, we to achieve these goals and these KPIs, we see that there is a pillars that should be also in place to work on. As I mentioned, we set our strategy with specific key performance indicators Also, as for our staff training, we have our code of conduct and how also to build the culture for our employees for the importance of these KPIs and how to promote and serve our beneficiaries. Also our products and policies to be also in line with the principles of equity. Our reporting that we need always to track the KPIs of the social performance management, and in specific for the gender equity and gender smart finance, to see the results, to analyze, to measure, to make any corrective actions. And as for our staff and senior management team and the board of directors, there is a periodically reports showing the results of these KPIs, even for internally and for our board of directors. This is Tamwilcom's journey regarding to the gender smart finance. Our KPIs for women empowerment, as for our clients, staff, senior management team, and board of directors, and also and this is very important for the role of microfinance. To increase access to finance and to increase the financial inclusion, especially for the women-led businesses. So we track all these social indicators.
Oh, wonderful, crisp, to the point, and amazingly rich. Thank you, Assam. So we hear about the intentionality. You can see the intentionality, a strategic framework that is set from the onset, and KPIs that are put, so it's not vague. Actually, it's very specific, targeted, with specific KPIs for clients, for staff, board members, and others. We heard about staff, again, the recurring feature of capacity development, to have the internal gender muscles to take us through the journey, as well the policies that can help us to build equity in the organization and institutional culture, that can really help us put this into practice, as well as reporting. We've heard also about the governance and how the implementation mechanisms that help us put this strategic framework into action. Thank you so much. I thank you. And now to you, Natalie, we'd love to hear about our journey, your journey.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Gabi. Thank you, everyone. Very happy to be here today and share with you Bank Ittihad's journey, the good and the bad, with our gender program. Just very quickly before we get into the presentation, for those of you who do not know Bank Ittihad, it's a Jordanian bank. It's considered one of the leading digital banks, one of the fast-growing banks in Jordan, and we're very proud that we are a purpose-driven organization. We're always trying to set benchmarks when it comes to impactful strategies that cover ESG, gender, youth, and entrepreneurship. Our journey with the gender program started in 2014. We launched a full banking proposition for women, first of its kind in Jordan at the time. And it was a natural extension of our corporate identity and our brand values as a strong supporter of women and a firm believer in equal opportunities. We approached our women's market program the way we do any kind of other business case. So we're very careful to position it as a business proposition rather than a CSR initiative, and that we feel sets the tone for everything that we do. And the business case for us, other than the fact that it is the right thing to do, it is very strategic for the country and the GDP. So as some of you know, the economic participation of women in Jordan is one of the lowest in the world at 14%, at the time where almost 78% of unemployed women have a BA or higher. So there is a big unutilized workforce. And it is believed that if we raised our participation to 24%, which is the MENA average, that could impact our GDP by up to 5%. Some studies actually say by up to 10%. So it's a missed opportunity.
The other aspect, when building the program, we thought about how it is part of our DNA. It is part of our strategy, our thinking, and if it's not us who would do it, it's us walking the talk, let's say. And the third aspect was the finance gap. So women-owned businesses represent 25% of businesses in Jordan, but they're only 5% are served by the financial sector. So you have almost $600 million financing gap. There's a massive business opportunity there. And generally speaking, access to financial services for women is at 58%. There are a lot of missed opportunities there. For us, I think I get this question a lot, and I hope this is helpful. These are what we call our value proposition building blocks. So when we created our women's market program, we looked at 6 areas. The first one, as I said, was building the business case. If the business case was not solid, it's going to be just an initiative that dies. We made sure that we had the right flags in our systems to start generating gender disaggregated data. We did the needed market research, as both Essam and Budur before me said. Serving women needs to come from a place where you understand the needs. You can't just come in with a blanket approach. And we looked at the value of the program for our business as a differentiator and part of our brand. When looking at building the CVP or developing the CVP, we had to identify what women in the market meant to us, and we decided to address all women in the market, whether she's a professional or she's a business owner, an entrepreneur, or the head of the family. We wanted to serve women in all of their roles. And we did a lot of work to try to understand the segment. Part of it was research, focus studies, interviews, just to understand what's missing, what's needed. When we came to the development of the strategy, it was very important for us to focus on the fact that to serve women, we can't only look at financial services. Non-financial services are just as important, if not more important. Making sure that women have access to knowledge, to information, to markets, to networks, all of that is basically making sure that the recipient is ready for the financial services. Otherwise, we'll be doing them a disservice. We made sure that our branding was clear, our messaging was clear, KPIs, budgets, making sure that it's treated as a business proposition. The fourth pillar, and I would say this is probably the more challenging part, and I'll address it later on in the session, creating internal alignment. So making sure that people understand why we're doing it, why it matters for the country and for the bank, what's in it for them, how is it actually helping them advance in their targets and their KPIs, and pushing the program through the different distribution channels. And that meant that we needed to create a network of champions across the organization, because you cannot centralize something like this. This is a whole, you're embedding a way of thinking, and we need to make sure that it is embedded in every aspect of the decision-making process. Implementation and rolling out the program, that was the fun part, let's say, of how to go to market with it, how to make sure that we're sending the right messages, testing it on the target, hearing back from them and iterating, going back to the drawing board, making sure that what we're offering is responsive. And I would say the most important aspect is the monitoring and evaluation. If you want this to be treated as a business proposition, one that's not looked at as a cost center, it's a business generating proposition. You need to prove that. You need to tell the story through the data, monitor how the program is impacting your portfolio, your profits, all the different indicators. And I can go into what we actually look at in order to story tell through data, so to speak. And all of that led to let's call it a two-pronged approach. So this is also something that you cannot just do it externally and not make sure that you put just as much attention internally. Women won't buy from you if they believe that you as an organization, you're not a gender conscious brand. If you don't treat your female employees with the same care that you treat your female customers. So we institutionalized a lot of the things that were organically there in our organization, and that's something that we're very proud of. Making sure there is zero pay gap. equal pay for equal work regardless, benefits, flexible working hours, health insurance, maternity leave, comeback program, which is a program where we help women that leave the workforce to tend to the family, be able to bridge that gap and come back into the workforce. And you can see how that has been translated into numbers. So 55% of our monthly job applicants are women. So that tells us that we are coming across as an employer of choice. 46% of our employees are women. 30% of our senior managers are women, including our CEO and our deputy CEO. That's probably part of the secret sauce here. And 21% of our board members are women. On the external side, as I said, we paid attention to three very important pillars: the financial solutions, making sure that we address what's unique to our market. So addressing everything that has to do with collateral, serving women as entrepreneurs and startups, because that's their entry point, and making sure that we have family and retirement insurance products, a maternity break with loans, savings accounts, and everything that's needed on the non-financial side. So advisory, coaching, networking events. And an SME award it's an annual event that we're very proud of, that also had a category specifically for women-led businesses. And last but not least, the partnerships, which are equally important, because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. This is the impact in numbers. Again, numbers are very important. Our portfolio grew 11 times since the launch of the program. Females make up 36% of the customer base. The non-performing loans are half those of men. And women have a higher average number of customers, of accounts per customers.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. So we heard so many jewels there. The business case, that it's not a CSR. We've heard about such, also KPIs, as was also mentioned by Assam, by Badur, by Natalie, KPIs, if we don't know where we are, if we can't track the evidence, how can we build it? I heard, and that was music to my ears, part of the strategy, but resourcing it, finding the KPIs, building resources that can get us, to put it into practice. The value proposition box that, like Natalie had mentioned, the internal alignment, cannot agree more, Natalie, and the champions, finding those that can really, it's not top down or centralized. So this is amazing, as well as we heard about it's part of your DNA, as we had heard before. So it's really awesome. Dr. Gabi, please.
Absolutely, Sally, and all of the speakers. We have a message in the chat from Elodie Roy. Esteemed panelists, I love seeing how you are using data and indicators KPI to tell such a compelling story for gender inclusion. I'm very impressed. Keep up the good work. I said we're going to celebrate success today. I'd be interested to hear more. I'm having my lens to hear more about the specific strategies, messaging that were used in the different organizations to change mentalities of people who perhaps were against those initiatives. I think this is a very good question.
Excellent question.
Who wants to take that? Yeah.
Yeah, please. Who wants to take a stab at that one? So approaches, strategies to change the mentality in an ecosystem that you, Badur, Natalie, Assam had also referred to. Please go ahead.
Maybe taking things into pieces. And I might jump to the second thing, which is it was difficult at the beginning. For example, the microinsurance. Because it was really rejected by everybody from the segment that we are serving, men and women. And I do recall when we used to have these focus group discussions about what about pooling and contributing. They were, no, what if I pay and I don't go to the hospital? Will you give me the money back? So the whole concept was really rejected. Even the staff why should we add a premium to the loan? We will lose our competition. Of course they will go, they don't want it, they will go to other competitors. So it was from staff not appreciating it, and from beneficiaries as well. What we have done is that we understand, as my colleagues have said, the why. What were their pain points about it? What was the conception that they have, or the perception that they have about the microinsurance? And we started to make slow planning of things. We started to make our staff, we dealt with our staff and then the beneficiaries, the staff, for them, the why. how it's important, how impactful, and incentives, of course, it champions, as Natalie said. All of these things started to make things move. However, then focusing on making successful stories and highlighting these successful stories, making a business case. At the beginning, I would say that we were aiming for the business case, but at the later stage, because at the beginning, even our partner, the insurance company, it was not for money generating the first 2-3 years of the program. It was, we wanted it to happen. However, now it's very income generating for them, for us, and it's very helpful and useful for the beneficiary herself. And we have expanded the program. Maybe I jump to talk about it without saying what it is for the participants here, or for the people who are listening to us. We have developed at MFW a very nice program for hospital cash, where we compensate any woman, any borrower who enters into hospital by a certain amount of money. Of course, if now the program includes herself and her family members as well, because we know that she's a caregiver. She can't work in her home-based business while her son is in hospital. So this is not a health insurance. It's a hospital cash. We just compensate you per night with this amount of money to help you survive this difficult period of time. And because the need came from the beneficiaries, because a research has been conducted where we have tried to identify what make home-based business owners fail, what make them fail. One of the first top 3 things was such health conditions. When she has a health condition that made her stop working for a period of time, because her business is a daily income. It depends a lot on everyday work. So this has led to losing her financial management, her income during this period of time, which will make her also not performing and not paying us back. So from this research, we designed this program carefully to serve her, and gradually expanding it. When we made successful stories, they started to tell each other, have you seen MFW gave us this amount? It helped me buy medicine. It helped me buy food to my family members. It helped me pay my debt. So it was very helpful. And then the success started to be accelerated. And the business case also became very, very useful. And we have started to talk about it, and we have started to see this model happening in other organizations as well. But when we started, it was really like, this is a no way. But it took us over 10 years to reach to this point where beneficiaries ask about it. And I don't know if I can also talk about a research we have conducted to see the impact of this on women, where we looked at a framework of, though we are a financial institution, so we looked at the material impact, which is her ability to borrow more or to continue her loan without being over indebted or something. This is the material thing. However, we focused also to see have it change anything inside the dynamics of the family, and it did. And we had heard quotes that even when I am sick, I still have money, where I can also say, I want this and I want that. Her perception of herself, it gave her a huge empowerment that even in difficult times, I have, because at the end of the day, money economy is empowerment. So the impact that we have studied was at the cognitive level, which is how they are aware now of the pooling of the insurance, appreciating, understanding it. This is the cognitive. The material, as I said, their income, the ability to, the KPIs related to their income, to their repayment, etc., and the perception and the gender dynamics. This is a story of something that was very challenging and now is very successful.
super inspiring, and thank you, Badur. Actually, this takes us to this is a great bridge to our question, our next question, which you also very nicely also bridged to and very nicely also answered in what your organization's main accomplishments as well as what you're most proud of. And I already see the impact. I already see parts of it, of the incentives of establishing and also a phased approach. And I would love to hear. Thank you, Badur. These are jewels, such really treasures. Atham, I would love to hear from you. And where do you see, if you would wish to, also about the challenges and how you, not the challenges, excuse me, the change in the mentalities, but also what your accomplishments, where you see, Sally, this is what we're most proud of, and in terms of our work at MWILCOM.
For that, the successful here in MWILCOM, in building the culture, the results of the KPIs, it's always exceeds, and always the senior management team and the board of directors waiting the periodic reports in regards to the SPM and the gender smart finance. To be honest, as a business culture, always we are looking for portfolio management indicators, growth, portfolio at risk, profitability, write-offs, etc., NPLs, etc. But this is for our senior management team and for our staff and for the board of directors. When they see the KPIs and it's social KPIs, they start to see the impact of their works, of our financial and non-financial services. This is for us very important as a success. In regards to the challenges, there is challenges, of course. How to manage the change as a change management, it's not easy. It sometimes it takes time, but it's important for the people who in resistance of this topic, that to increase the awareness and the importance of gender smart finance, and to let him see the impact of their works. And also at some time it's very important to involve the staff, even loan officers, branch managers, etc., to involve them in setting the targets, the policies, the procedures. That always help. Another point in regards to the challenges, and this is we faced this in Jordan. I think that we need more awareness about the role and the importance of microfinance in regards to the financial inclusion, to increase access to financial and non-financial services, and etc. Because we faced many campaigns that microfinance sector targeting women, and also the microfinance sector over-indebt women and use social pressure for collection. And this is campaigns all over the years. This is one of the main challenges that microfinance sector working under implementing the international standards, the consumer protection principles. One of the strategic objectives to empower women, not to over-indebt women, and not to use women for social pressure in collection. This is one, to be honest, one of the main challenges that we faced here.
Wow. So glad we're recording because these are jewels. Honestly, I mean, rarely do I hear change management when we talk about gender equality, when we do talk about gender finance, and it sits at the heart and the core of how it really actually is done. Thank you so much about breaking this resistance through awareness, through inclusion, engagement in the process. I'm so happy to have a man change agent. Thank you, Isam. I'm so happy to see the management reviewing the KPIs, not only the money, but also the other things, the other aspects, and building the case, and was already mentioned by Natalie, by Badur, by everyone, and the partnerships, and also, bringing our staff with us, bringing our partners with us. It doesn't happen overnight, so it takes time. So how do we bring them, like what Badur had mentioned as well? Natalie, I would love to hear.
Sally, if I may briefly interrupt you, because we have one very important opinion by Ilham Zaidat. Ilham, she's from Jordan. You might know her. She's a very dear friend, entrepreneur from Bloom, Dead Sea products. And Ilham, I'm very happy that you're joining and contributing to this discussion, asking exactly or sharing this experience after full support of women employees by loans from my company. I was shocked that in some cases the employee husbands or brothers used the money while she was in trouble and can't fulfill. So this made me change my policy. So how can we control this? Again, it's about changing mentality. I think that was really interesting to hear. Please.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what I think what Isam was also referring to. I mean, Isam, did you have something to add? Or
yeah, it's there is some cases, of course, what Ilham mentioned, but always increasing the awareness for our beneficiaries, for their responsibilities and roles and etc. This is, we see the changing, we see the increasing of the awareness, especially for women, to be honest, in regards of this, and also we see always that there is many activities that MFIs did in regards to this, in increasing access to, in increasing awareness, such as trainings, such as awareness sessions for the beneficiaries to increase the awareness. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. I know we're getting closer to the end, but I would love to thank you, Assam, also for highlighting the challenges. I would love for Natalie, and after that also Badur, to mention your key accomplishments, what you're most proud of, but also the lessons learned, and if anything that you can highlight, also resonating other points. Natalie, and after that Badur, and then we're gonna go.
So for us, I would say what we're most proud of is that, first of all, the fact that we have and use gender disaggregated data to make decisions. That was a big shift, and it changed everything about the program. We started to see opportunities where we didn't think there were any, and to see opportunities for new products, new approaches. The fact that our efforts helped us position ourselves as an employer and a bank of choice for women, that was like a kind of like a proof of concept. And the fact that we built partnerships that helped us do so much more than we can do on our own. And this is something that we believe in very strongly. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. You should not compete against others that are doing something and that might be doing it better than you. Pool your resources, support them, and you will become part of the ecosystem. You become an ecosystem player, an ecosystem builder. With regards to key lessons learned, and of course, this has been a long journey, and we're still learning. We're not done learning new lessons, but I would say that you cannot do everything, right? So I cannot serve women in all of their roles and all of their needs. You need to decide where you want the impact to be. And for us, it's very specifically advancing economic participation. Data is key. If you don't have the right flags, the right data, you cannot manage the program, you cannot grow the program, you cannot scale it, and you cannot prove that your efforts are being successful. Building partnerships, as I said. And the most important thing, this is not a program. It is not a vertical. It does not sit in one area of the organization. It has to be cross-cutting. It has to be organization-wide. It has to be a strategy and a way of thinking, not a program or a project that can be just turned off or switched off any minute. It needs to be embedded in the organization, in the DNA, in the culture, and in the decision-making processes.
Oh, goodness. Natalie, you must have been an eagle in another life. So have you, Assam, so have you. Badur, thank you so much. To the point, you know, impact, looking for impact, the radar, your data, how am I progressing? Am I regressing? Continuous learning, partnerships embedded versus a one program. Thank you, Jules, Badur, our next eagle. Thank you. Maybe what you're most proud of, lessons learned, if you wish, and then
changing in approaches as well. We talked about change management for making a change, but even in the approach, as I said, and focusing, looking at things as indicators, not as a goal by themselves, it will make all the difference. Because sometimes we might fall in this trap where we, like, if we stay just serving women, we will have 100% of our beneficiaries are women, but we would know that maybe lots of them are just taking the money, as Ilham has mentioned, to others. But we open services to others. We need to be flexible. We need to change according to the changes that happen and the approaches that's taking place. This is, of course, Natalie has mentioned a lot. I just wanted to add this point, is to focus on the objective, and the KPIs are KPIs throughout the process. Study everything and understand everything. Be flexible to change even the approaches that we are following.
Absolutely. Super. Thank you, Badur. So flexibility, adaptable, not one thing that you put and you stay 10 years. No, it's something that you adapt using the KPIs as you go. And maybe if you allow me, I think leadership buy-in has been one feature. I know each of your institutions to a certain degree, but leadership buy-in, I think, can open doors, eh?
Of course, yeah, of course, definitely. The leadership buy-in from the beginning is it takes things from top down, and as I said, from establishment, from generation to another. So once anyone joins this, the DNA thing happens to everybody. And of course, it takes like a board, a leadership that says, okay, and pushes us to innovation, to it's okay, go do this and make mistakes, fail, but this is the objective. This is the segment that we are serving. So of course, leadership is everything.
Jules, I mean, daring to fail, daring to take the risk of failing.
Yes,
that is super. I mean, creating that system.
Actually, a concrete example is serving the female Syrian refugees in Jordan was also a huge step. Without the leadership saying, go, do mistakes, risk it. We are there. But of course, do the correct planning, the correct implementation, etc. But this gave us a space to have now a successful portfolio that we are very proud of.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, thank you. We are approaching the end. I want to hear if you can distill a message and advice on, you know, other financial institutions that might be wanting to pursue a more gender smart journey, finance journey. What would your advice be? And we're going to start here with maybe Isam, and then after that Natalie, and then Badur.
Yeah, you know, my advice, especially for the people who work in the microfinance sector, it's very important to see the impact of their works. Okay, financially, it's very important, but also socially, it's very important to see that you did in your social responsibility, measuring the impact and seeing the impact and tracking the impact This is very important and make people proud, not only externally as the results and as the reports, but for as institutional level for the employees to proud of the work that they are doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie.
My advice would be do it. Honestly, you cannot operate in business if you have a blind spot, if you are not catering to the needs of 50% of the population. When you learn to serve women either as employees or customers, the way it energizes the organization, the diversity, the innovation that is injected in the organization, and the insights you get from the customers can push you that much further. It's a business case, yes. It's also a culture. It's also an impactful, purpose-driven brand statement, and it is how you can innovate. You literally are missing out on 50% of the needs of the population you serve. No one can afford that, especially not in a market as small as ours.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. Badur.
They said everything, so I will focus on something else. We are huge, we are big organizations, and we can do big things to make impact. But what I advise everyone and all attendees, small things sometimes might be very impactful. Let's all be ambassadors for this change in our social talks, in our, even if we are small company, small things might do big things and big impact. It's just, it takes a village to change things. It takes so don't go to disappointment not being able to do big things. Really small things can also be very impactful when it comes to gender empowerment.
Wow. Jules, thank you. I cannot thank you how enriched I came out of this session. I thank you for your brilliance, for your passion that you three bring. Of course, Katarina, Dr. Gabi, I cannot imagine the energy that you bring, the passion, you put yourself in the work. It's not a job for you. Thank you for your generosity, your humility in sharing your lessons learned, the challenges, also showing your vulnerability, as well as sharing the smaller parts, positive and negative. Thanks so much, Badur, Hassan, Natalie. Thank you, Katarina, and to Sanad Fund and Technical Assistance Facility, as well as Finance in Motion, for your sincere commitment and for walking the talk, Dr. Gabi. Thank you for creating the space for your passion and for your brilliance as well. What an honor to have been with you today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Sally. And I want to refer to Ilham again. Amazing. Amazing. And we are not in a rush. So let's have 2 more seconds to reflect and to really have a nice wrap up, because that was really, as I said, amazing. We are really indebted to all of you. Sally, excellent moderation, brilliant speakers, brilliant setup. And really, I must thank you for taking your time and sharing your very hands-on, powerful and insight, encouraging examples on how to walk the talk. And Badur, you were saying we are all ambassadors. Yes, we are. And so keep on spreading, keep on walking. And as we say in French, petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son lit. So it's the little steps. Exactly. It does not always have to be the big one, but the small steps, because 1 and 1 is not 2, but 1,000,000. So thank you so much for being with us. It all will be posted on YouTube. We will keep you posted on that. And dear participants, thank you so much for being with us. Now we have a little pledge. Please, your feedback is important to us. So therefore, we would like to ask you, after the session has been closed, to take a few moments to answer our 4 very precise, very concise questions that would be highly appreciated. And yes, there is more to come on our exciting GAWBL journey. So expect more. We will keep you posted. In the meantime, stay well, safe and happy. And again, Alf Shukr, thank you so much for this wonderful sessions that will still make me think a lot. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.